Assalamu alaikum. This is macroeconomic course directed to first year. Let's continue chapter 2, aggregate expenditures and national income. The main goals of these chapters: first, how the equilibrium in the goods markets is determined inside a certain economy. Second, what's meant by multiplier and how the value of multiplier is determined or measured in a certain economy. In order to learn how the equilibrium in goods markets is determined, we have to understand first how the economy works, and this is illustrated by circular flow of national income that we have taken before. This circular flow of national income shows the payments made and income received by each participant inside the economy. As you know, that any economy consists of four sectors: household sector, which are consumers; firm sector, which are producers; government sectors; and finally foreign sectors. And according to the active sector inside the economy, we could determine the type of our economy. For instance, if household sector and business sectors are the only active sectors inside the economy, we call this economy closed economy without government. When government sector enters and be active inside the economy, we call this economy closed economy with governments. And when we allow for foreign sector to be active, we call this economy open economy. So in this chapter, we're gonna learn the equilibrium condition in each type of these economies. Let's start by a closed economy without government. Such a type of economy, we have only two active sectors. Household sector represent the demand side of the economy. They are the owners of factors of production, which are labor, land, capital, and entrepreneur. And business sector, which represent the supply side of the economy. First of all, household sector provide factors of production to the business sector, who use these factors of production in order to produce goods and services available and pay or make payments for it. These payments take the form of wages, rent, interest, and dividends. The sum of these returns or payments are called the national income. Household sector use these payments in order to buy goods and services produced. Now, the equilibrium in a closed economy without government could be determined through two approaches. First one occurs when national income, which represents the supply side of the goods market, equals the desired aggregate expenditures, which represent the demand side of goods markets. Concerning the supply side of goods markets, which is national income, in this case, it is divided between consumption and saving. Why? Because we are in a closed economy without government. Concerning the demand side of goods market, represented by desired aggregate expenditures, it is the total expenditures or spending needed by the active sector inside the economy in order to buy the final domestic goods produced. In this case, we are in a closed economy without government. We have only two active sectors inside the economy, household sector and business sector. In this case, we have only two elements of desired aggregate expenditure. We have desired aggregate consumption needed by household sector and desired investment expenditures needed by investment or business sector. Concerning investment expenditures, we consider this variable as exogenous or autonomous. So it is a given number, while consumption is represented by a function, A plus BY. A represents the autonomous consumption, or we call it wealth. It is a part of consumption that does not relate to the level of income. It is the intercept of the function, while B, it is the slope. It is a part of consumption that is related to the level of income. We call it marginal propensity to consume. The first approach to get equilibrium could be represented graphically by the intersection between the 45 degrees line, which represents national income, the supply side of goods markets, and aggregate expenditure or desired aggregate expenditures, which represent the demand side of goods market. In this case, at point E, goods markets would be in equilibrium, where the national income equals desired aggregate expenditures, or the aggregate demand equals aggregate supply inside the economy. Any point to the right or to the left of point E cannot be an equilibrium point. For example, to the right of the equilibrium, for example, point F, there would be an excess supply in the goods market. Why? Because the 45 degrees line lies above the desired aggregate expenditures line. In this case, aggregate supply for goods exceeds aggregate demand. There would be an excess supply for goods. In order to restore equilibrium, we have to get rid of this excess supply. In this case, sales should be decreased and output should be decreased and inventory would be accumulated. By doing so, the equilibrium would be restored at point E. Also, to the left of the equilibrium, for example, point G, there will not be an equilibrium at point G. Why? Because aggregate expenditures lies above national income, aggregate demand in goods markets greater than aggregate supply. So there would be an excess demand. And in order to restore equilibrium, we have to meet this excess demand. So output should increase, sales should increase, and inventory would decrease. In this case, equilibrium would be restored at point E. Now we turn to the second approach to equilibrium, which is the saving investment approach. According to this approach, equilibrium in the closed economy without governments occurs when withdrawals equals injections. In a closed economy without government, we have just only one kind of withdrawals, which is savings, and just one only kind of injection, which is investment. Graphically, this is represented by the intersection between savings and investments function. As we know, investment is exogenous, represented by horizontal line. This is the end of the lecture. If you have any comments or questions, please write it and I will answer it. Good luck.